Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel, the Eaton Squad. So on today's video, we are going to talk about the eligible visa type that are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic.
Hi, I'm Patricia. I'm the madam. Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm the ruler. I'm Addie and I'm the diva.
I'm Mommy Addie, and I'm the boss.
And I'm Papa Forrest. I'm the real boss.
We are the Eaton Squad.
For the information of everybody, we do travel updates, immigration updates, and other travel-related updates when you plan to go home to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. If you need any of those updates, all you need to do is go to our channel and look for all the travel update videos for your reference. Before we proceed, please don't forget to like and share this video if you find this informative. So, today we will discuss the different types of visa that are eligible to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. If you are a visa holder of this type, you are allowed to come to the Philippines with proper documentation, of course. So let us discuss these types of visa. So number one is the 9A visa, or also known as Temporary Visitor's Visa. This is the visa that is granted for foreign spouses, foreign parent of Filipino national, minor children, and parents of a Filipino national. You have to apply this at the nearest Philippine consulate in your area or which jurisdiction you belong to. Number two is the 9C visa, or the Foreign Seafarers. This is the visa for seamen on a ship docking in a port of entry into the country. Number three is the 13 Quota immigrants. There are 7 types of this visa. Let us discuss it one by one. The first one is the 13A visa. The 13A is the spouse or unmarried child below 21 of a Filipino citizen. 13B, children born during a temporary visit abroad to mothers granted permanent residence in the Philippines. 13C, children born after the issuance of the visa of the accompanying parents. 13D, women who lost Filipino citizenship by virtue of marriage to a foreign spouse and her unmarried children. 13E, permanent residents returning to the Philippines from a temporary visit abroad to resume permanent residence. 13F, the spouse and or unmarried children of a foreigner admitted to the country for permanent residence prior to the approval of the Philippine Immigration Act. And lastly, 13G, natural-born Filipinos and their dependents who have been naturalized in foreign country and wish to permanently reside in the Philippines. Please take note of those different type of 13 quota immigrant visa. And if you are a holder of this type of visa, you are allowed to enter into the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. Also allowed to enter the Philippines are the holders of RA 7919 visa, also known as Alien Social Integration Act. Also, you guys are also allowed to travel to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic are the holders of the Executive Order 324, also known as Alien Legalization Program. In the definition, the Alien Legalization Program says, these are aliens holding a permanent resident status pursuant to Executive Order number 324 series of 1988. Our next visa holders that are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic are the native-born visa. The native-born visa holders, these are children born in the Philippines who are visa holders because of their parent or parents are lawful permanent resident aliens. Next visa holders that are allowed are the temporary resident visa relative to Section 13 of CA 613 as amended based on Memorandum Order Number ADD-01-038 or ADD-02-015. I've been trying to find the definition of this one, but for some reason, I couldn't find it on the internet. But for sure, holders of this type of visa know what type of visa this is. So if you are a holder of this type of visa, you are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. You're allowed to enter for holders with MCL-07-021 permanent resident visa based on Section 13A of CA 613 under Memorandum Agreement Number MCL-07-021. Another type that is allowed is the Executive Order 226 visa. 226 visa is the Omnibus Investment Code, a visa granted to foreign personnel of regional area headquarters or regional operating headquarters of multi-purpose company. This is part of the investor's visa that has recently opened up or the travel restriction has been lifted. Next is the SIRV or Special Investors Resident Visa under Executive Order 226. SIRV is a non-immigrant visa granted to foreign nationals and their dependents who have shareholdings in Philippine corporations engaged in the manufacturing or services sectors involved in projects listed under the Investment Priority Plan or are listed on the Philippine Stock Exchange. This visa is issued by the Bureau of Immigration in coordination with the Board of Investments. The next visa holder that is also allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic are the 47A2 visa. These visas are issued by the Department of Justice. Like I said earlier, this type of visa is part of the investor's visa that the travel restriction has been lifted last month. Also added to the group that was just lifted a few days ago is the 9D visa. The 9D visa is a foreign business traveler's visa. Aside from the visa that we mentioned earlier, there are also foreign nationals that were issued visas by the economic zones. There are 5 economic zones that issued visas to foreign nationals, and these are the following economic zones. Number 1, the Aurora Pacific Economic Zone. Number 2, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority. Number 3, the Authority of the Freeport area of Bataan. Number 4, the Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. And lastly, number 5, the Clark Development Corporation. If you were given a visa by the following economic zones that we mentioned, you are now allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic, but of course with proper documentation. For the specific documentation for a specific type of visa, you can always coordinate with the Bureau of Immigration. And there you go. These are the types of visa that are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. And if you're a holder of this visa, you can now travel to the Philippines. So to recap, these are the visa holders that are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. The 9A visa, also known as Temporary Visitor's Visa. 9C visa, which is the Foreign Seaman's Visa. The 13 Quota Immigrant Visa. The RA 791 visa, also known as Alien Social Integration Act. Also, the Executive Order 324, also known as Alien Legalization Program. The Native Born Visa. The Temporary Resident Visa to Section 13A of CA 613. The Permanent Resident Visa based on Section 13A of CA 613 under the Memorandum Order Number MCL-07-021. Also the Executive 226 Visa, also known as the Investor's Visa. The SIRV or Special Investors Resident Visa. The 47A2 Visa issued by the Department of Justice. and the one that just recently lifted, the 9D visa, also known as the Foreign Business Travelers Visa. We also have the following visas that are issued by the economic zones, by Aurora Pacific Economic Zone, Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, Authority of the Freeport area of Bataan, Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, and Clark Development Corporation. So like I said earlier, if you are a holder of these types of visa that we have discussed today, you are allowed to enter the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. Make sure that you bring all the proper documentation before you travel. That way, if they are asked during the Bureau of Immigration process, you have all the documents to show them that you are allowed to enter into the Philippines. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope that you can use this video as reference if you guys are planning to go to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic, especially if you are a holder of a specific visa. I hope to see you guys in our next travel update. Please don't forget to like and share this video if you find this helpful. And also consider subscribing to our channel if you are not a subscriber yet. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will be notified every time we have new uploads. Also, to our new subscribers, thank you so much for the continuous trust, and we welcome you all to our family, the Eton Squad. We really appreciate your support. I hope to see you guys next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye!